Hello students. So today we'll talk about types of budget. So you know that there are two types, budget surplus and budget deficit. So in our case it is budget deficit. So when I'm saying our case, we are talking about in the case of India, we have budget deficit. So what is this budget deficit? Budget means, or what implication it has, and why we have budget deficit. So we are going to talk about that in detail. Now before we talk about that, you must know some basic information about budget. So if you see, budget is a document which contain estimates of revenue and expenditure for a year. So Article 112 of the Constitution refers to the budget as the annual financial statement. So annual financial statement means for the financial year, okay, which starts from 1st April to 31st March, which is a statement of receipts and expenditure of the government of India in a financial year. So here we are not talking about that is statement of income and expenditure. So we use the word receipts. So you have to tell me in the comment section why we use the word receipts. Why not we use the word income? So I am waiting for your reply, which I'll tell you in next lecture or in next video. In other words, budget means the statement of government needs and resources. So ultimately, if you see the objective of budget, so budget decides so many things like growth, employment, sector specific growth, development. So budget decides so many things. Now if you see that in 2000, or you can say at 2015, we have brought so many changes in the budget. So like first, what change we have done, or you can say changes that we have brought in budget. So first is merger of railway budget with, you can say, general budget. Merger of railway budget with general budget. Clear? So this is the first change that we have brought. So we can say that one thing with surety, that now we have single budget. So this is what first you have to remember. Now second, that what we have brought, that we have done away with plan and non-plan expenditure. So earlier we have plan and non-plan, although this change has been done just, you can say, before 2015. So this was done in 2012-13 itself. So we have done away with plan and non-plan expenditure. So we have, you can say, Government of India has done away with plan and non-plan expenditure. Clear? Third, what change we have brought? Number third, presentation of budget is on 1st of Feb. So earlier, the budget was presented presentation of budget on 1st of Feb. So earlier the budget was presented, so that is February. Okay, so earlier the budget was presented presented on 3rd or 4th week of February. So right now we have a fixed date. Okay, just we have a date of 14th Feb. Okay, so now we have a fixed date that is called as budget day. Okay, that is 1st of Feb. So earlier it is 3rd or 4th week of Feb. So there was no fixed date. So this is what we have, you can say, brought a changes. Also, if you see that we have, you can say, we have done away with vote on account. Vote on account. So you have to tell me in comment section that what do you mean by vote on account. So we have done away with vote on account. So vote on account has been you can say now we are over with vote on account. So what is vote on account? That you have to tell me, and why we have done away with vote on account, so that you have to tell me in comment section. So answer for this again I'll tell you in my coming videos. So please watch these videos, it will really help you out. Okay. Next, although in 2021 we have brought another change. In 2021 we have brought another change, and what is that change is that we have introduced paperless budget. Paperless budget. Okay. So that is in 2021. So you can expect that UPSC can ask you in mains. UPSC can ask you in mains, what are the changes brought in budget or you can say annual financial statement after 2015. Now why you can predict this question? Okay, so there is a chances that UPSC can ask you this question. Now why you can predict this question? Because if you see in the year 2021 they have asked the changes brought in the methodology of calculating GDP. So when they can ask, so in 2015 we brought changes in GDP calculation methodology. So they asked the question in 2021. So there may be possibility the same question can be asked. Okay. So remember that you can predict question if your hold on previous year question is very good. And if it is not good, then you can ask me. I'll tell you how to bring it. Clear? Then you can ask me how to bring it. For that you have to contact me on my Insta page. So economy_Himanshu. So you have to contact my Insta page economy_Himanshu for that. Clear? So there you can ask me. Clear? So that is what they can ask in your mains. Okay. Okay. So this is what a predictability. So I can predict this question for you. So I told you the reason also why I am predicted it, because in 2021 they ask a question that is changes brought in GDP calculation methodology. So you can check that question of 2021. Clear? Clear? So this is the thing. Okay. So these are the changes that they have brought in budget. Okay. That they have brought in budget. So this is what you have to remember with respect to your pre and mains both. Clear? Now, moving further. Now, if I talk about types of budget, so there are two types. One is budget surplus. One is budget surplus. And another is budget deficit. Now, when I am talking about budget surplus, it means what? That your receipts are more than expenditure. Now, when this is the thing, so can we say that in such scenario, it means such government is having more savings, or you can say is having savings. So that is why called budget surplus. Similarly, when I am saying budget deficit, it means in that scenario, the receipts are less than expenditure. So what does it mean? What does it mean? That in that scenario, can we say that if this is the situation, then government is having borrowing. or you can say government is taking borrowing to run the government. Although there can be another third case also, that is called as neutral budget. But that is an ideal case. That is the ideal case. So when I am saying ideal case, it means that receipts is equal to expenditure. Receipts is equal to expenditure. Okay, but that is the ideal case. So normally developed countries have budget surplus, whereas developing or emerging or poor countries, they have budget deficit. Okay, developed and developing countries. Okay, so if you see the things that developed and developing countries, so developed countries has budget surplus, whereas developing countries has budget deficit. So in our case, we are having budget deficit. Now, if you have understood this thing, so there is another topic in your public finance chapter, or you can say fiscal policy, that is types of fiscal policy. Types of fiscal policy. So you can say that there are two types. Number one is expansionary fiscal policy. And number two is contractionary fiscal policy. So you have to remember that there are two types, that is expansionary and contractionary fiscal policy. Clear? So this is what you have to tell. So this is what we have covered, that deficit budget, surplus budget and neutral budget. So neutral, or you can say balanced budget, is an ideal case. So deficit, as here has been said, that expenses and revenue, so difference is there. So if expenses are more than your revenue, okay, then your revenue, then it is deficit. Whereas if though both are equal, then it is balance, and otherwise it is surplus. So this is what we have seen. Okay, so already it has been covered in this book, that is second edition of studyIQ book. So it has been covered in that. Now this is expansionary and contractionary fiscal. Now if you have understood what is expansionary, now whenever your expenditure is more than your receipts, means the situation of budget deficit, then we can say, or in that scenario we'll say, that country is pursuing expansionary fiscal policy. Country is pursuing expansionary fiscal policy, which is the case in India. Now, if your receipts are more than your expenditure, or you can say your expenditure is less than receipts, then in that case you can say that my budget is surplus, and then you can say it is a budget surplus, so you can say contractionary fiscal policy. Although we'll talk about this thing in detail so that we have more clarity. Now, in case of India, our government is having, or you can say we have, expansionary fiscal policy. So can anyone tell me why? So big question comes, why? Now there are certain reasons why we have. Number one is, you can say, that burden of poverty, hunger, malnutrition, gender inequality, okay, income inequality, as well as vulnerable section. As well as vulnerable section. So keeping these things in mind, so can we say that government has to spend on social welfare schemes, or you can say welfare schemes, in the form of various schemes that we have, social welfare schemes. Okay. So ultimately, if you see, you know that poverty given to us by British government, or you can say legacy of British government, hunger, malnutrition, which is again attached to poverty, gender inequality, income inequality. Now, because of income inequality, like agriculture is not taxed, or there is no income tax on agriculture income. It is all because of, you can say, income inequality, or to ensure income equality there. Clear? So we are collecting less tax. Even if you see in income tax, so many exemptions are given. So in order to reverse income inequality, such exemptions are given. So it means if everyone is income well, so just like your service sector, if agriculture sector is also performing in the same manner, so income tax will be imposed and we can have more tax collection. But agriculture is not performing just like your service sector. That is why no tax has been imposed on agriculture. Although there is a demand that government can impose tax on large farmers. But again, if government do this thing, then it will lead to inflation. Also, you know that agriculture is unorganized. So there are so many challenges. That is why this sector is exempted. So overall, the condition of agriculture is not same as your service sector. So in service sector, we impose tax, but in agriculture, or you can say on the income of agriculture, we don't impose. So this is what you have to remember. Okay. So ultimately receipt. Similarly, we have vulnerable section also. So it is the duty of the government to provide welfare schemes or to protect vulnerable. So India, or you can say as per DPSP, so we have to focus on welfare. So that is one of the mandates. So this is the thing. So this is one reason that why this is the thing. Similarly, as I talked about agriculture, so we have subsidy burden also. Now, if I talk about third major reason that why India is having expansionary, or you can say budget deficit, next is defense. Now, if I talk about defense, what does it mean? That my defense expenditure. If I talk about defense, what does it mean? That my defense expenditure is high. So when I am saying my defense expenditure is high, because of India's location. So if you see, if my neighbors have nuclear, I also have to have nuclear technology. I hope now you understood. So defense. So if my neighboring country does not have, so my expenditure will also not be there. Clear? So ultimately, we follow deterrence policy, no first use policy. But no first use policy does not mean that we don't have weapons. We have weapons, but we will use whenever others will use first. So we declare openly that we have a no first use policy. Clear? But still we need to be prepared. So defense preparedness is must. So that is why defense. So you see, every time whenever any government comes, so it is very important to know the fiscal health of the government, means from where I am financing and where I am spending the money. Plus second is your defense. That is why if you see, or if you study ancient or medieval or modern history, especially if I talk about ancient medieval. So there you have seen that any king, whenever they hold the kingdom or they become the king, they first talk about defense, that is their army, and then they talk about revenues. So these are the two things, and you find that question used to come in history also. So economy has a relation. So if your economy is solid, your other subjects you will understand what nature of question is required. So if you understood or if you learn this art, that how to predict question. So I'm not saying that you can predict 100 questions, even I cannot. But point is this, to crack this exam 50% is needed. So if suppose before appearing in this exam and you know that out of 100 if you predict at least 25-30 questions also, so it means you are going to get at least your this much marks is get secured. So prediction, so start predicting. So bureaucrat is the one who is visionary in nature, who can predict. So it is not like that ki when it will come then we'll see. No, you have to change this thing. If you have not, so try to start thinking ki this thing can be asked, this not, this thing can be asked, this not. So this is what you have to, or inculcate this, you can say, characteristic in your personality. Clear? So if you can develop it, that's very good. Okay. So I hope you learn something. Okay. So this is what you can say, that is why we have expansionary fiscal policy. Now, if suppose question comes, Indian government is pursuing which nature of fiscal policy? So you will not write directly that it is pursuing expansionary. Okay. So if again I'll say that if question comes, nature of fiscal policy, okay, pursued by government of India or union government. So you will not write that, you will not write directly that they are pursuing expansionary fiscal policy. So you can say that currently our fiscal policy is expansionary, but government of India has continuously putting efforts to move towards contractionary fiscal policy. So I can say, so your answer will be that currently government of India is having expansionary fiscal policy, but government is continuously making efforts to move towards contractionary fiscal policy. Now what does it mean? It means if I suppose make a scale, so in last 10 years, so today it is 2023, so in last 10 years, so for example 2014, 15, so if my fiscal deficit is somewhat here, means the gap between my receipt and expenditure is this much, for example. So government has taken so many measures to reduce this gap. So in one of my video I have talked about that how government is trying to reduce the fiscal deficit. Means for example, government has rationalized its subsidies, government has rationalized its government schemes, government has rationalized its, you can say, government expenditure, or you can say administrative expenditure, by ensuring austerity measures. Similarly, on the receipt part, government has imposed taxes on cryptocurrency, Google tax, which is also known as equalization levy, Okay, so this is what you have to talk about in detail. So you can say that from 2014-15 our gap is this much, but government has made an effort. So if suppose on this side it is expansionary, on this side it is contractionary, so government has taken multiple steps to reduce the gap between receipts and expenditure. So ultimately this gap has now been narrowed down. Still we have expansionary but narrowed down. So we can say that we are moving towards contractionary. So whatever I have covered in my past video, so you can check from my playlist on studyIQ IAS English channel. So there you can see that I have talked about how to reduce fiscal deficit. So if you refer that video, and if you have understood this concept, when you combine those two videos, you will get the answer. Clear? So I hope now you understood what you have to write if this such type of question comes. Now I can definitely tell you, or you can check on your own also. If you are seeing my video and you ask your friend that government of India is having which policy, that is fiscal policy, expansionary or contractionary, I can ensure you that they will tell you only that we are having expansionary. So if you tell them to write at least 60, 70, 80 words, they are not able to write. But now, once you have seen my video how to reduce fiscal deficit and this concept, when you combine it, you can easily write 100 words or more than 100. So if question comes of 10 marks, you can easily handle it. So in this video, I am not only giving you concepts. So apart from concepts, I am telling you how to use that concepts also. So that is very important. So you read any source, either the studyIQ book or any book of economy. But point is this, how to use those concepts, that is very important. So this is what you have to know. Clear? This is what you have to. So I hope you learn something in this session. So if you have any doubt, you can contact me on my Instagram. So again, I'll tell you that what is my Instagram. So economy_Himanshu. So you can message me here. So I can try to message you within 24 hours. Okay. If suppose I forget to message you, then again you message me. Okay. But definitely I'll give you a message. So my priority is to reply you within 24 hours. But sometime due to hectic schedule or busy schedule, I miss to message you. But again, if you again message me, definitely I'll message you. Clear? So don't worry about it. And if you need to talk to me, there again on my message I'll give you my contact number so that we can have words also. Clear? So I hope you enjoy or learn something. Okay. So ultimately make your journey enjoyable. So if you have concept clarity and how to use those concepts, that is another thing. So both are different things. Once I know the concept, second, how to use it, that is another thing. If you know both these things, then only you can succeed in this exam. So I hope this session is helpful for you. And if it is helpful, so please tell me or give me feedback in comment section. So we'll meet soon. So till then, enjoy your day and Jai Hind and have a nice day.